What's going on, fam? This is your boy Lorelco,
And I'm Wanda.
and you're listening to the Forever Pod.
Forever family.
Family.
You like that? That was
That's
fun.
nice. I like that.
Forever fam, what's up, y'all? How are you? We skipped a week.
You skipped a week. Yeah.
Hopefully you didn't miss us too
Hope
much.
you didn't miss us too much. We've been gone, but not gone too long.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody say where are y'all, so we didn't. No one really.
They didn't.
Y'all didn't miss us.
Gotta get y'all hooked in, man.
No, but we were going. Our kids were sick last week.
Yep.
It was crazy a little bit. But how are you today?
I'm good. I have this crazy story in my mind. I can't get it out of my head. I can't shake it.
Okay.
Remember the one time we were looking for houses in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a crazy story. We were houses looking in Texas, looking for homes, and there was this one builder called Grand Homes. You know where I'm going with this?
Mm-mm.
And we were in, I forgot what part of Texas, but we looked at this with the Grand Homes, got out the car, checked on the boys, make sure everybody was good.
Well, now I know where you're going.
And so I can't get out of my head. So we go into the model home to look at the Grand Homes, and they said it was probably what 500 to 600K or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's cheap. Oh, okay, cool. Because Grand Homes usually start at like 1.4. That's where they start. And so we're listening to the guy. He said, yeah, man, by the end of all the specs, everything gets in, it's probably going to look around 1.5. I said, oh, 1.5. Okay, cool. So as the guy was talking to me about the house and everything, I started to hear this noise. I heard this tinkling noise. It's like a tinkle. That's what I heard. It splash on the floor. I was like, what's going on? I look behind me. I see my son. Is this Casey and Kylo? Was he?
I don't know.
I don't know if Cole was.
I think he was, yeah.
He had to be.
Yeah.
I think I was holding him. And all of a sudden, I look behind me, and Kaysen, there's a puddle of urine underneath my son's legs. I'm just like, what is going on? Now, we're in the model home. I'm talking to the agent, the real estate guy, the agent, and I'm hearing this puddle.
That is hilarious.
I look behind me, and here's Kaysen just peeing on the floor. Like he's some dog.
He was just learning, y'all. He was just learning.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I felt so bad. I was so embarrassed. I said, "Hey man, you got some paper towels, man? You got some napkins or something, man? I can clean this up. I'm sorry, man. The bathroom's right there. Somebody used the bathroom. I'm embarrassed. I don't know if anybody else has been in that position where
I wasn't embarrassed at all.
I was embarrassed.
I was trying to hope. I was like, baby, he's a 3-year-old. It was actually funny to me because remember he got pee. He was yelling and screaming. He didn't crying.
Yell at all, Wanda.
I thought he cried.
No, he just sat there.
I thought he cried.
Quiet as a house mouse. Huh?
I'm pretty sure he was shocked.
He was quiet as a house mouse.
Are you sure?
And that's why we didn't know what was going on.
I remember him crying and me running him out the house in his little Yeezys. He peed all in the little Yeezys that we got him, remember?
That might have been another time. I don't know if he was nervous in the home or what.
Remember, I had to go all the way. I had to go to Ross, and I had to go and get them like all new shoes. And I thought I was getting Nikes, but it was really Bikeys.
Oh my God.
The off-brand Nikes, remember?
Because I remember I was so embarrassed.
Why were you so embarrassed? Let's unpack that.
I have to unpack it.
Why were you embarrassed by a 3-year-old being a 3-year-old?
Well, I don't know. I felt like I did a poor job as a father. If I'm seeing my son peeing on the model home floor, I just feel like I didn't do my job as a father.
Why would that be?
All he had to say was, "Hey, Dad, I gotta go use the bathroom."
He was like 3.
I don't know. I just in my mind, I'm like, man, what was I thinking? Why couldn't I have been there for him?
I think the problem was really me because I remember forgetting to remind them to use the bathroom. I still had to remind them to use the bathroom. I'm a very go with the flow type of mom sometimes. You're the militant one.
I'm the militant
and
one.
I forget, especially when we get in public, I be forgetting certain things. And I'm grateful that you have a different mind than me. But
I try not to forget. But I don't know.
I don't feel
like it was funny after a while. We thought about it. I'm like, you know what? It was funny. I think we got in the car. We just started dying laughing because it was.
But I don't feel like parents should take things so seriously with their kids.
It's hard not to.
Why?
Because we see ourselves in them, and we don't know that was what we're doing. We don't know that we see ourselves in them.
But I don't take
how we grew up. We see it.
Well, that means that you had a lot of your identity tied to performance.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that.
Like the way that you perform, maybe guardians, people that were your leaders at the time, you know.
Right.
Um,
I can see that.
They found value in the way that you acted and behaved.
Yeah.
And so I think that our generation, because I'll just speak for myself, I know like my dad used to love to brag about how good our grades were and how good of kids we were. But what does that do for you as a parent?
It's just an ego.
It's an ego boost, right? But if you know, okay, kids are allowed to make mistakes, kids are allowed to be kids.
Yeah.
I don't really, for me, I'm like, obviously we're going to clean up after our child. We're going to mop. I remember us mopping, bleaching. We were, like trying to get it together. But I don't think he felt as a parent. Now, if he's a 13-year-old. That's hilarious. But like age appropriate type of behavior,
You're right. It was just funny. I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm looking at a puddle of pee.
I think it was worse because we had seen these houses and the house said that it was cheaper than what it was.
Right.
Too, remember? So it was just like a nightmare experience altogether.
Just know, if y'all looking for houses, whatever price they tell you, that's not the ending price.
That will not be the end, especially if it's a new build, bro.
Especially a new build.
Oh my goodness, they're pricing the like basic, and then they get you into the townhomes, and you're looking at all of these elevations. Yeah. The elevations are 100, 200, 300,000.
The base price is one thing,
man.
Once you get to the rest,
tough.
Oh, so you like that chandelier, right? Oh yeah, man, let's add on another 50,000 for the chandelier, bro. For the chandelier. Come on now. Oh, you like that stainless steel? Yeah, I do, man. I'm gonna get that. Oh, okay, man, add another 100K. 100K. 100K, bro.
It just adds up, bro. It's like buying
one
a
thing
car.
after the next.
It's like anything. I don't understand why y'all be taxing so much, America.
Hey, you know why?
Man,
tariffs and stuff.
They try to get money, off of us. I'm like, y'all.
You know what they doing?
I don't got it.
Hey,
I'm not good for it.
Hey, come on now. But yeah, so that was what's in my head.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to drill you on your parenting. You know, we have these conversations privately. I'm like, babe. It's relaxed.
No,
they're kids, you know.
They are, and I have to remind myself every day. I literally have to remind myself just to let them just be.
They definitely need you though.
Well, we make a good balance.
Yeah, because if it's up to me, I'm like.
And sometimes we flip off and on where I'm just like letting them just go buck wild. You like, Lorelco, are you good? I'm like, yeah, it's just being boys. Let them.
Mm-hmm. No, you let them fight and stuff. That's where I draw the line.
That's testosterone. You got to get that out.
No, we're not gonna be fighting.
I got 3 boys, y'all. They got to get that out. Yes, fight.
No.
Wrestle. All that, dude. Yeah.
They be hitting each other, having marks and stuff.
That's the makings of a man.
See, that's where you don't care.
No, that's the makings of a man.
Right.
They need that.
Like today, we were having a random conversation about spiritual warfare, they started talking about chopping off.
Yeah, all that.
I can't say
all that.
what all not nothing major, but just I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I was like, where did you get this from?
Oh, I need all that. It's in them.
He said, I'm gonna take the head off the devil. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, gonna chop his head off. That's what he said.
I don't know if you can say that online, babe. Well, I feel like that's a YouTube ding.
That's not what I meant.
That is hilarious.
He gonna get his head.
I was like, do I correct this? I was like, but son, the spirit realm is different.
When I realized when raising boys,
why do they think like that?
You gotta let them be that.
Why?
Because it's a part of who they are. It's that saving, that surviving, that fighter in them. Like you need that fighter. If you take the fighter out of the man, out of the boy, well, you take the man out of a man.
That's why these men need dads.
That's why these men need fathers. They need real men who are going to teach them how to fight, teach them how to grow, teach them how to wrestle, teach them how to have confrontation. Why do you think a lot of men don't have confrontation right these days?
No.
They don't know how to fight. They don't have no confrontation. Have you seen them argue?
You're getting into something for me, though, because you're unpacking something, because it's not even about they can't have confrontation. I think it's people in general lack emotional maturity.
There it is. Emotional intelligence, emotional maturity.
Yes, I just read a quote online that literally said, if you can teach people how to be emotionally aware, emotionally stable, you will keep people out of prison, you will keep people out the streets. Because of the big problem, like when people do not have confrontation, like not unhealthy confrontation, healthy confrontation, without yelling, without screaming, without hitting, punching, damaging property, cussing each other out, all this stuff.
Yeah.
that's because there's a lack of emotional health.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. So when I see a man who doesn't know how to regulate his emotions.
Yes. Emotional regulation.
Yeah. Emotional regulation. Doesn't know how to regulate his emotions. Who's having road rage.
Yes.
Flipping people off, screaming and cussing, and how dare you cut me off? Doing all that kind of stuff. I laugh. I'm like, dude, that's not what a man looks like, bro. You need to get you some help. You need to start learning how to regulate. That means somebody in the home when you grew up did not teach you how to regulate your emotions.
Right.
And so you grew up going crazy, throwing stuff at the walls, hitting stuff because no one taught you how to look within, how to be aware, how to tell yourself I'm angry, how to tell yourself I'm sad, and to sit in that, and also just meditate in the fact that you're sad and that you're angry and that you know that you feel lost, that you feel unhappy, maybe that you feel excited. Like no one walked you through your emotions,
right?
And so now you got a man who's out here acting like a child because that's where the learning stopped. Mm-hmm. So you see a 39-year-old acting like a 15-year-old, that's where the learning stopped. You stopped learning at 15, bro.
I think they act 5 sometimes because
5 years old, temper tantrums.
I be teaching my kids stuff, and I'm like, man, I wish I could really sit down with a couple adults that I know and talk to them about the way that they handle things. Like you gotta honor. We teach our kids to honor each other. Like they don't call each other names. Like he'll let them wrestle. You tell them like don't hit each other's head. Don't.
When I tell them to wrestle, do not aim for the neck.
Right.
Or higher.
Right.
Go for the waist.
Right.
Chest. Yeah.
Right. So there's rules and there's regulations, and it's teaching them restraint because they were in karate. But that's another story for another day.
But y'all know I'm a black belt.
Babe, come on.
I've taught them some things.
Okay.
They didn't know that I can do the flying side kick, roundhouse kicks, all that stuff. Soup, kill, soup. I know how to do all that, boy. Black belt. Come see me. Come see me.
This is like another character unlocked randomly. Come see me. Okay.
I'm telling you.
But I mean, like, we teach them how to regulate their emotions, which I think you've already explained that. That was very hard for you. You're still working through it. God. You're still working through it.
Oh, my God.
I'm working through it, too. I'm not perfect. But I think I'm a mom, so moms are you just have to. I mean, once you give birth and you have kids, it's health. I mean, to be a healthy mom, you have to learn how to emotionally regulate, believe the best, teach your kids, view them as your kids, not your enemies, not people that are out to get you and out to disobey you, and they just want to wrong you. Like you have to believe the best, and you kind of like follow the Bible in how you love them, how you train them up, and all that stuff. So we teach our kids, like, hey, when you're talking to each other, like even if we overhear them, like if we're down here and we overhear them yelling or something, or immediate correction, we honor our brother, we respect our brother, because I want to see our kids grow up and have a level of honor and respect for each other that I have not seen, before. In our families. I've seen it in other families, but I've not seen like honor, respect, reverence, love, care, thoughtfulness. And I've been the cause in my family, and I've gone back and forth with my kids, but my parents, but we were not raised like to honor your siblings and to love them and to respect them and all those things. So I feel like, no, we were always, we were taught like, you're not the boss of them. You the mom. There's only one mom and one dad, and I'm like, I think that brothers should be able to submit to each other. Yeah. I think that if like Kaysen, he's the oldest technically. We don't teach them like oldest, youngest, none of that. But like, let's say if Kaysen's telling Kai the right thing, I love what we do. We'll be like, hey, your brother's trying to help you. So it's like putting that reverence and honor for each other, even when we're correcting each other. Because my dad would always say, you ain't their parent. You don't tell them what to do. And I'm like, no, because there's going to be a time when we're not here. Yeah. And I want them to have honor and reverence and respect for each other, and to know like, oh no, Kai is just trying to help me, which Kai is our big helper. He really, really helps a lot. Like he helps a lot. Shout out to you, Kai, if you're listening to this.
Evergreen.
He helps so much with his brothers, and he's always trying to make sure they're doing the right thing. Kaysen too, Koa, we pray for Koa. He tries, but I like that. And we do a lot of like emotional regulating, making sure that they're regulated. And hot take, I don't mind if my kids talk back.
Okay, well,
I don't care, and the reason why is
what they say.
No, if they can like, for me growing up, again, my dad is 70 This is giving y'all a lot of reference here.
Okay.
My dad is like 71, 72. That's a boomer.
Yeah.
You don't talk back. I don't care if you have something nice to say. I don't care if you have nothing respectful to say.
That's true.
How
That's
different
I
is
was
that
taught.
you're raised?
I was taught the same way.
So my dad's
Don't
10
talk
years
back.
older than your parents were.
Yeah,
But
don't talk back.
no, there's nothing
I
you
get
have
slapped in
to
the
say.
mouth. Pow, quick.
Eat immediately. No.
I had to eat that.
Yeah.
I'm talking. I gotta eat that all up, boy. As soon as I talk back, pow, quick.
Yeah, like
I mean, no warning.
it was an immediate like. No, it don't matter if you have something good to say. And trust me, I always had something
I'm
good
sure
to
you
say.
had something to say.
Kai, when he
You
be
and Kai
talking-
are two peas in a pod.
Oh yeah,
boy.
I felt like everything I had to say was just like gonna make it make so much sense. And no,
You know what I thought was gonna bother me when they correct me.
Yeah,
If I say if I correct them and I'm wrong in the correction and they respond with, "Hey man, that was wrong."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But because we have a household where everybody speaks freely, they feel safe to say it, knowing they ain't gonna get popped in the mouth.
Right.
I'm just gonna listen. Like, what was that? like, repeat what you just said so I can hear what did you just say. But that's not what that means, Dad. You
No,
said
yeah,
such
like
and
one time Lo was telling Kaysen, he was like, "Hey, Kaysen, put your car away. Take your car off the dinner table." And Kaysen was like, "It's not a car, Dad. It's a Jeep."
Right, like I would
They
have
do that a lot.
I would have got to go upstairs, get my belt. That'd been quick.
But are they
Don't you
lying?
correct
They're
me.
telling the truth.
I had to look
right?
at it. I was
I'm
like, all right, man. Well, get your Jeep.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for being aware to let me know that it's not a car, but it's a Jeep. Okay, cool. Still, I need it off the table.
Yes.
While you eat your food.
Yes, because that's what I've learned. I think. Now I don't know an exact scripture for this, because I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not going in the Bible to be like, does it say? But I feel the Bible says fathers don't provoke your children,
Yep.
right? Honor your mother and father, but
Yep.
also fathers, and I'll just
Right.
say mothers, don't provoke your children. And I feel like we're also called to submit one to another, right?
Yes.
And so if our kids are to honor us, they should be given the choice to honor us. They should not be forced.
Right.
Not to say that you don't have healthy discipline and all those things. We're not advocating for gentle parenting, in those regards of let the kids lead the day. But I don't want a dictatorship in our home. I would love for our kids to be able to voice their concerns, voice their opinions, have a voice, and for us to respectfully decline and be like, "Oh, thank you for sharing. Now, here's what we're doing."
Right.
And then they get the opportunity to submit to the bigger
Right.
vision of the family.
And another thing is also not just saying no.
Right.
Like if they present something, because kids always have something to present, I think it's important to say, that's a great suggestion. I'll make sure to consider that moving forward. Are
Right.
we going anywhere after this? I don't know yet, son, but I'll let you know once we get there. If we
Right.
go anywhere. Not shutting them down, but always offering a better way of validating their feelings and validating their questions, saying, "Hey, I do hear you. We're probably not going to do it, but I will. Thank you for your suggestion. I'll
Right.
look into it. I'll look into it."
And
And then
yeah.
Kylo would check me. He'll say, "Hey, Dad, did you look into what you were saying? Did you think about that?"
Oh, yeah.
I did think about it.
Oh,
And
he's
it doesn't
coming
look like
back
we
to
have
you.
time to do that right now. Maybe some other time.
He gonna do
You
his
can't
due
promise now. You
diligence.
can't say, "Yeah, we're going to do it definitively," if you know you're not going to do it definitively. But
Right.
you have to say, "Thank you for your suggestion. I'll think about it."
Yeah.
And then they'll ask me, "Hey, Dad, have you thought about it?"
Yeah.
I thought about it. It's probably not going to work today, but
Yeah.
let's try some other time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
I think I'd love that about our parenting, because honestly, like we treat our kids kind of like they're our friends. They're not our friends, but we give them a voice. And so our kids are very vocal.
Yeah.
They're much more vocal than a lot of kids, because they're not just like, we don't just shut them up
we don't shut them up
at
or shut
all.
them down. Yeah.
And so like, I think that our parenting style is like humble parenting in a way, because it takes great humility to listen to 5-year-olds.
It's a lot.
It takes great humility. And so I think this podcast episode is now about parenting, by the way. But someone asked me this question, actually. So this is like, that story was a great opener, because someone had asked me, they were like, "Hey, Wanda, like, I noticed that you and Lo don't take a lot of date nights by yourself,
Right.
and that you guys spend a lot of time with your family. And I don't think, like, I never see that you guys are annoyed by them, and it seems like y'all just have your unit and y'all are fine with that." They're like, "How do you find contentment by doing everything as a family when you don't get a lot of alone time or like date nights?" I remember she said she wanted
That's
a
right.
podcast about
Right.
that. Yeah.
Right.
So what would you say to that? And give some context here too. Like, how often are we with our kids?
So we're with our kids probably 24/7, all the time. There's not a time that we're not with our children, and that's by design. And I think that's something we talked about when we were together. I know how I grew up. I grew up with my mom and my dad. Though I was in the school system, we did everything together. Everywhere we went to my mom's hair appointments. We were there. Her nail, whatever she had to get done, we were there, sitting there, playing. We didn't have phones. We didn't have iPads. We just had us and some fun. And my mom looking at us and scolding us if we moved 1 inch. You know what I'm saying? Motioning the belt, all that, getting her hair done, the whole nine. You move, I'm getting ready to pop you. I'm like, okay, I can't move. But because we had this, because we were so used to it, we knew that, okay, we're here, so we might as well make the best of it. So how I grew up is we were always with our family. Everywhere we traveled, we always traveled together. We never flew on a plane. We always were on the car. It was always a road trip. So we created fun moments in the road, on the road trip, and songs, and created songs and games, and it was really fun for us. And I didn't think that my mom and my dad were annoyed with us. I mean, okay, I can't say that, but it was part of the package.
Right.
You get your parents, you get me. You get us, you get your parents.
Right.
And I felt that that's the healthiest way. It's not to keep tabs on your children, but I think it's a way to show solidarity. It's a way to show unity. It's a way to show that we are a unit, that we move together, that I understand where they are. They know where I am. It's a way of protection. It's a way of safety. Yeah. And so anytime that you see my children, you're going to probably see us. And so, no, we don't have a lot of date nights right now, simply because, we're using this time. This time is sacred for them. And I think there's always seasons of times where we have to draw back and sacrifice our time for them.
Right.
This is their
this
early
is our
development.
first season where we haven't had date nights like that. Though.
But it's also the first season where our children are now really aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I think we're very sensitive to this season of where they are, where we can kind of draw back and not be so upset that we're not having our one-on-one time, though we do miss it every now and then. We're not like at our throats saying, "We need to throw these kids," and we're not doing that.
We're not desperate.
We're not desperate.
Yeah.
But that's also because we are sure in who we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we spend that time talking to each other all the time. And they hear our conversations. We make sure that we are talking with respect and honor, of course, but they hear our conversations. They hear us connecting. They see us loving on each other. And so it's not something that...
They do see us disagree, too.
And they see us disagree. They see us arguing in confrontation.
And when they do see that, we always make sure to come back.
Yes.
To have these conversations in front of them when we're getting back cool.
Correct. So that, that they know, right. So that they know how to have healthy confrontation.
Conflict.
So, healthy conflict. You don't want your children growing up not having seen your parents have conflict.
Yeah.
Because they'll have a relationship at some point with their spouse, and they don't want to sit here and say, "I've never seen my parents argue," and now they don't know how to argue.
And they don't have a model.
They don't have a model because the wife, she got all these emotions and feelings and hormones, and you're like, "I don't know how to deal with that," and you don't know how to argue. Now you like, you about to explode or implode because you never saw what it looked like to be healthy in confrontation or in conflict.
Right.
So I feel like it's really good for us to really have that, open space, open door policy to kind of allow them to see that.
Yeah.
And to see us make up at the same time too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Our kids, like, we've had our seasons where we were traveling so much, not so much, but at least.
That was a lot.
Twice a year without them.
Oh, without them, yeah.
And then we were traveling with them a lot. And this season is just so different from us, which I think in our next episode, we're going to go more into that. But this season is so sacred, and it requires us to be leaned into God and leaned into our family. Yeah. And there's contentment in this season because we also understand the assignment and also like what God has placed on our family and on our responsibility list. I was watching, like, I have so many thoughts right now. But I was watching this lady, she's a therapist, and she was saying like how a lot of kids, like there's a lot of kids at school or that are getting bullied, and there's a lot of kids that are ending their lives like at 9, 10 years old. And she was just talking about this epidemic that we're in because parents offload their responsibility of taking care of their children to daycare, school systems, and all that. And then by the time they get home, parents are on their phone all day, and the kids are like neglected, and the kids don't have these like really strong family connections at home. And so when they get bullied at school, that makes them feel like their life is over because they don't have like that strong family foundation at home that, you know, they can go to. There's not like that sense of identity anymore. And they were saying like how the American system is like, I think this is a European lady, but she was just saying like how the system is kind of rigged and set up to try to keep both parents outside of the home, which it's less people parenting their kids, and the kids are less connected and having like a healthy attachment with their parents. And she was like, if we can save this world, I wish I could find this. If I can find it, I'm gonna share it on Instagram. But she was like, we can save this world if we will parent our children. And so for us, I think because we had to walk through infertility, and we like, it's a cost, you know, there's a trend that Lizzie has from the song, "You Don't Know the Cost of the Oil." Oh, I really sang that. I feel like I ate that. I'm just kidding. But that's how I feel about our children, is like they actually costed minimum $30,000, but also like emotional, physical, spiritual. Like we sowed in tears, we sowed in prayers, we sowed in fasting. Like at a time for years of our life, all we could think about and all we could pray for was children. And that suffering season that we had, it produced a deep reverence and a deep reverence would be the word, right? Like we just had this sense of responsibility for them, to protect them, and not to try to be perfect, not to try to control them, but also it's like we said, God, if you will give us these children, we will give them back to you, and we will listen to you on how to parent them. Because I feel like over the years, a lot of times people have said, how do y'all do this? How do y'all do that? How do y'all do this in terms of parenting? And it's like, we're praying all the time. We're having tough conversations. Like when our kids go to bed, I'm like, hey, babe, you shouldn't have said that. This could be received like that. How can we work through this? And we had to have these real conversations about like, yo, we're trying. This is what God told us that these kids would be. This is who we're raising them to be. This is the big vision of our family. This is how we want them to feel. This is the mantle and the mandate on their life, is to like be a first generation of something that we've never seen. So we have to pray constantly. We have to have talks about how we're going to parent, being aligned, having boundaries, having things that are like, we just don't do that. Our kids will never go to a sleepover, guys.
No, it's not happening.
We're not doing sleepovers.
It's not happening.
We don't like. And if we did share our list, y'all would be probably parent shaming us down below. But like, there's just some things our kids will never do, and they're very happy kids. I mean, they're great kids. Love them. They have great personalities. But like, when we go to restaurants, our kids aren't on iPads. And this is not parenting shaming. This is not a podcast to parent shame or to say that our way is the best way, but it is hopefully a call to action for you to go back to the Lord if you're a believer, to say, hey God, like, how is my parenting? Like, show me the areas that I can improve on, and do research, study, like look at this generation, look at the pitfalls of the parents that are right now raising their kids in this society, and figure out like what it is that God wants you to do. And he'll tell you, and each kid is different, you know?
There's one thing I told God. I had a conversation with the Lord, and I said, Lord, I want to be home with my family.
Talk about it.
And I said, I want to be home with my family. Help me to figure out how to do that. I don't want to travel. I don't want to go to and fro to work, 9 to 5, going, clocking in. I want to be with my family. So help me find a job where I can work remotely. Figure that out, God. Whatever you need to do, help me to do that. God gave me space to find the right job, to find the right transitional industry to get into, to allow me to be able to do that. But I said that because I turned down a lot of opportunities so that I can make sure that I stay home remotely working and being present with my children. And that's something I was talking to a friend today at the gym about. I said, man, I made sure that I was very intentional with the Lord, with my prayers, because the best example that we can be for our children is to actually be the example to our children. It's not about what we say, it's about what we do. Who are we? It's what they see. If they see me in my prayer closet, they're in the prayer closet with me praying. They see my wife, if they see you praying and taking notes, they getting out a notepad taking notes. So certain things that we do around the house, because we always are here, they see everything, good, bad, ugly, but they see it, and we're able to teach them based off of us being who we are, not based off of what we're telling them to do. Hey, do this, do that, do this is not always going to help them. Right. The best example is for you to become that example. But I made a decision early on. I said, I cannot go clock in and clock out. I need to be home, because I realized the power of a man being in the house. Now, Lord, I told God, I said, look, man, if I'm going to be home remotely, I need to make some money. I got to make sure I'm making bread in order for me to do that. And God blessed and made a way to do that. But that took a lot of time, effort, a lot of prayer. The Bible says a fervent and effectual prayer of a righteous man availeth much. If you look at fervent, it means continual. If you look at effectual, it means consistent. Effectual meaning efficient. What are your prayers intentionally? What are you praying intentionally? And then you got to be a righteous man. Then it avails much. And so there's steps to it. And so a lot of people just pray, but are you following the steps? Are you fervent? Are you consistent? Are you effectual? Does God even know what you're saying? Yeah. Do you even know what you're praying? And then are you righteous? And it's not about performance based, but it's just about knowing who God is and building a relationship with him so that he can really move on your behalf. And I think that a lot of men are nervous to ask for certain things because they don't believe that it can happen. Right. You just got to have faith and believe that it can happen, and trust that God's got you in your request to be home with your children, in your request to be a present father. Yeah. You don't have to be on the road all the time to be present. You can be present and make money. You just have to ask God, Lord, show me how to do that. And then give yourself space for him to move and work on your behalf. And that right there, that space and time, that patience that you have to take, that's going to develop character in you, so that when God does it for you, you know how to steward that well. Yeah. And so many people want it now, and God says, I got to take some time to do this for you. I need you to be patient for a minute. Wait on me for a minute. Keep my ways. Then I will exalt you so that you can inherit the land. So these are certain things that God was teaching and instilling in me in my patience and in my waiting. Okay, God, show me what industry I should get into. Show me how can I make this work and provide while I figure this out. Right. And God did that. But it took prayer. It took consistency. It took fervency. It took effectualness to be able to say, okay, God, this is what I need from you. I pray that you hear me, move quickly on my behalf.
And then we just got a vacation on your behalf when we went to your work conference.
My work conference.
And me and the boys, we had the time of our life, I tell you.
Yeah, so I mean, the tech industry is good.
The prayers did avail. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, God is good. He brought us really, really well. But at the same time, again, it was by design. I told the Lord, I want to be home with my children. Hey, I numbered my descendants before I had my boys. Okay. I was like Abraham. I started counting
definitely
the stars.
did have a girl in you, huh?
No, I had no girls in me.
Okay, but while you were talking, I thought about the word stewardship. Going back to parenting, I guess, like, as a ministry. Okay. Because a lot of us, we say we want to be sent to the nations, and God is sending us to our families.
Come on, man. Talk about it.
A lot of us want to go out and we want to be seen on platforms, and we want to be paid, and we want to be on the airplanes, and we want to, and no shame on it. And your family should not be on the altar of your ambition. Your family is your first ministry. If you look in the Bible, if you look at Proverbs, if you look at books, right? Like, at the end of the day, even if you don't read the Bible, like when you get to your deathbed, you're not going to think about how much money you made, how many stages you stood on, how many songs you released, whatever your ambition is, how many Instagram followers you had. You're going to be looking to see, how well do my kids love me? How much are they prepared to live life without me? What legacy did I actually leave? Like the relationships is the sum total of our existence, and how we steward those. Like that's true success. You said that. But stewardship is God. It's a God-given responsibility to manage, care for, and wisely oversee what belongs to God, whether it's time, resources, relationships, talents, influence. So to the person who asked me this question, to understand and to have like, not to say it's not going to be hard, because I think we'll get into practical steps next. It's going to be hard, but your mentality has to shift from like, these kids are taking me away from my man or whatever else I want to do, to understanding that these kids don't belong to you and they belong to God. So you're only a steward over them for 18 years of their life. They'll be on this earth longer than they're in your house. Prayerfully, in Jesus' name. But yeah, as a good steward of your children, you understand that these children don't belong to me. So I can only plant, and I can pray that someone else is going to water, and then God's going to give the increase in their life. God is going to grow them. God knows where he's taking them. And like, you just have to intentionally show up, and you're not going to get it right. You're not going to be perfect, but it's like taking authority and saying, oh, God wouldn't have entrusted me with these kids if he didn't think I had what it took to raise them up to be who they're called to be. And so it takes stewardship. It's just like, if someone, like you're renting an apartment or you're renting a home, like you are a steward over that home. And when that home when your lease is up, you have to hand over the keys, and the person who owns the home is not going to let you off the hook if you got holes in the wall, you tore this thing down to the, concrete foundation. You are going to have to pay for the way that you stewarded that house and that property. And it's the same with our kids. Once they get gone and they get out of this house, it's not going to be on you what the decisions that they choose, but it will be on you how you stewarded them and how you took the time to raise them up, And so that means you have to apologize to your kids. That means you have to read books. That means you have to be prepared to say, I'm wrong. Prepared to, like for me, in the first couple of years of parenting the kids, I always would say, like, man, if it's my first instinct, it's probably wrong. And I realized, like, my first instinct was gained from a toxic environment. So if I'm feeling frustrated, if I'm feeling like they're wrong, if I'm feeling like they shouldn't be crying, it's like I questioned my first instinct. And I worked through this in therapy, because I told y'all I didn't trust the Lord with my kids. I was so like hover mom. I think that it's a gift to them in some regards, but in others, it was healthy to a point. And so I worked through that in therapy to realize, like, oh, okay, part of this is going to be God's job. I'm literally just a steward, and I do what I can. So in this season where we're not having date nights, it's like fine, because we make time for it. Like, we got a Blackstone that we go out there after our kids go to bed, because we have a schedule for them. So once they're in bed about 8:30, we go outside. Sometimes we keep them up longer, but after they go down, we go outside, we chill, we connect, we watch our shows together, do our little podcast. That's how y'all are hearing us. That's why we get a little tired at the nighttime. But God has increased our capacity in this season to where it doesn't feel like we haven't had a date night in 10 months.
And I feel that it's important to have boundaries. I feel like it's important. When I talk to my sons about boundaries, I let them know. I had a conversation with them about a couple months ago. I said, look, man, the reason why I put you down at a certain time, the reason why you're in bed around 7:30, 8 o'clock sometimes, but the reason why you're down at this time is because your mom and dad need their time. And so I make sure to allow there to be a boundary. And I say, do you know why? Because mom and dad love each other, and we want to make sure that our love is strong enough to be able to handle you guys as well. We love you so much, but we need our time. So don't interrupt us while we're doing our time. Now, I'm not talking about being busy. I'm talking about hanging out. Like, mom and dad need to talk. We got to hang out. We got to do our thing. Don't you interrupt me. If I put you down, don't you wake me up 2 hours later talking about you want to have fun and play around.
Hungry.
Don't come up with no excuse. I put a boundary there because I feel like that's so important for them to know, hey, man, I can't wake up. Well, unless you need me. I'm not going to be that strict. But, like,
right. Like, they got to do
you know what I'm saying? You got to use the bathroom, do whatever. Emergency, whatever. But what I'm saying is don't think it's always going to be about you. because at the end of the day, you are.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I make sure to know like my wife comes first right now. Like when y'all gone, I still gotta be with your mama.
Which I want them to be like that when they have a wife.
For
Like
sure.
I am not that mom that's gonna be like, I come before your wife.
No.
That's a big problem
That's a
with
big problem.
mother-in-laws
That's a
that
big problem.
has been out here
Yeah.
on the streets. And it's like we raise these boys and they're our everything, and it's like, you're not my everything. I love you guys. I want to be your friend forever. I pray you call me all the time. Oh my gosh, my heart would break if they didn't. And I want you to go love your wife, honor her, put her first.
I don't know.
And if I do a good job, your wife is gonna be like a daughter to me,
Right.
anyways. And she's gonna want to call me. She's gonna want to come over. She's gonna want to be around me because I respect her.
Right. But you know what I find weird is that a lot of moms who have sons treat their sons like they are their husbands,
Yeah.
and so it's hard for them to let them go. And so it comes off as if they are a spouse versus being a son.
Yeah.
Can you do this for me? And it comes off spouse-like. Can you do this
Yeah.
for me? Can you do that? Can you? And I'm like, hey man, like relax. Like I had to tell my mom the same thing. Like, hey mom, like I'm not your husband. You know what I mean? Like I'm your son, but I have a wife, and my wife comes first. And that was a hard conversation. And I love my mom, and she loved me. And that's one of the things is like they love you so much, they want to hold on to you. They feel like you know you're their everything, and they're so attached to you. But there's a season of time where you have to let that attachment go and
Right.
allow them to be free.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this season of our life, we're not trying to let them go now. They're 5 and 2. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so we want to make sure that we hold on to them. But there's going to be a season of time where whatever we have instilled in them now, we're able to let them go and be okay because we did everything we can in our power to make sure that they're raised in the admonition of the Lord.
Yeah.
And I was reading in 1 Samuel chapter 3. I told you I was on 1 Samuel heavy, chapter 3 to chapter 7. But chapter 3, the Bible talks, chapter 2, the Bible talks about how Eli's sons were worthless men. And God dealt with Eli because he'd raised sons who did not fear God.
Okay.
And so Eli,
So then
had
that
to
goes back
de-
to the first part of this conversation.
right? So Eli had to get dealt with because of his lack of stewardship of his sons. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, dang, Lord, like you really went ham on Eli. Like, what's going? That's why you had to raise up Samuel because your sons out here playing in the tabernacle, out here promiscuous, out here doing all this weird stuff and just not being disobedient to God, not fearing the Lord at all. That was Eli's lack of stewardship. And God had to deal with Eli based off of what had to deal with his sons too. All of them had to die. But I was just like, man, God, I don't never want to get to a place where I'm like Eli, where I don't do my job to raise my sons up fearing God.
Right.
I'm raising up menaces of society. I will refuse to raise up menaces. They're going to know God.
But I will say this in in direct opposition to that. It's not always the parents' fault when their kids go awry.
Okay.
Because I was just reading also Judah, his first son. Judah is the bloodline in which Jesus came out of. His first son, the Bible says he was evil and he was wicked in the sight of the Lord. The Lord took him out. And then Judah wasn't blamed for that.
Okay.
So there were times where I feel like they had one son that was evil or wrong or bad or wicked, and it wasn't on the parents' head. Because
Right.
someone could be listening to this and they've prayed and they've done everything right, and their kids still ended up out in the streets.
Let me show you the
And so
scripture.
there's some where they can't. But I think God holds you accountable to how you raise them up and how you train them up and how you try
Yeah.
and how you correct them.
Right.
And then what they do after that, that's on them.
Right. And so this is where the Bible talks about where Eli rebukes his son, but he was passive with him.
Yes.
And so it wasn't the fact that, here it is. He asked, Eli was very old and he kept hearing all that his sons were doing to all of Israel. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 22, and how they lay with women who were serving at the entrance of the temple of meeting. Promiscuous, just nasty. And he said to them, why do you do such things? For I hear of all of your evil dealings with these people. No, my sons, it is no good report that I hear people of the Lord spreading abroad. If someone sins against a man, God will mediate for him. But if someone sins against the Lord, who can intercede for him? And the Bible says here, but they would not listen to the voice of their father, for it was the will of the Lord to put them to death, because they had already turned their hearts away, because Eli never corrected them.
You know what that signifies to me?
What's that?
Passivity.
Yeah.
When you're passive, that's like the opposite of having boundaries.
Expand.
So, because we have talked about a lot of different things, scriptures and stuff, but Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
When Eve was in the garden, Adam was right there while she's having this conversation with the serpent.
Right.
And Adam was passive.
Right.
Therefore, he had to pay because he was passive.
Right.
And so with our parenting, guys, society and the way of the world of like where we're headed as a society, it wants you to be extremely passive when it comes to your kids. It wants you to let your kids lead the day and let all the things.
Yeah.
And I think like there is a healthy balance between letting them have a voice, teaching them to stand up for what's right, teaching them to be individuals, and still having discipline, still having standards, still having a culture of your house, like guidelines, rules, boundaries, consequences, cause and effect, healthy consequences. Like, no, you're not going to be doing what we were raised on, to your kids, but there should be like cause and effect type of consequences. But again, it takes deep work to go into yourself to realize, okay, what was good, what was bad, what does the Bible say, what does, parenting experts say, become a student and always be open to being teachable. Yeah. But there's a cost for being passive. There's a cost for being passive in your marriage. There's a cost for being passive in your businesses. There's a cost for being like if you're passive in your finances, there's a cost. Right. And so that's a good one because it's like you cannot control the outcome of how your kids turn out, but you can control you and how intentional you are. And so, I feel like I have a weekly wake up call. Like, okay, I wasn't that tuned in this week. Okay, what can I do this week that will like help push them forward? And it's just it's 1% better, and even for me, like that started with me looking within, not just my parenting, but my life. Like if I'm passive in my own life, I'm going to be passive with my kids. Yeah. If I'm passive in what I'm eating, if I have no boundaries with myself, and that when I had lack of discipline, when I wasn't working out, when I wasn't eating healthy, when I wasn't going to bed at a reasonable hour, when I wasn't monitoring the conversations I was listening to and having, when I wasn't monitoring my screen time, my scrolling, how I felt, having awareness, all the things, I was no good as a parent. Right. But once you have once you have alertness, awareness, and boundaries with yourself, I feel like you can have boundaries with your kids.
Another word for passive would be timidity. 2 Timothy 1:7, for God did not give us a spirit of fear. The term fear means to be timid, but power, love, and a sound mind. So anytime you're operating in a spirit of timidity, you're losing power. Adam, you choose not to love, or you're not in the sound mind. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that I've realized, that when you see people like Adam, or you see like Eli, who operate in the spirit of passivity or timidity, they lack power. Yeah. They lack authority. Yeah. And I think one of the marks of a real man is the fact that he's able to walk in authority and not to be timid. So he does not operate in fear, but he operates in power, love, and he has a sound mind. That's a true mark of a man, when he's not timid. Yeah. When he can rise up to the occasion and say, yeah, this is what it is, or this is where I am at right now, or this is where we are in our finances, or I didn't do well in this situation. Or I did do well in this situation, and using confidence, not pride, to show strength in a certain area. Yeah. And so I think real men, when it comes to raising boys to become men, we cannot be timid. We cannot be passive. It's not the season, especially now in 2025, going into 2026, and the rise of all this stuff happening and the Lord coming back. Like, we cannot be passive in our approach to raising children, and our approach with our wives, and our approach to life. Like, we have to develop character and develop boundaries and develop integrity. And all of our strength comes from the Lord. The joy of the Lord is our strength. And so it's not a way of saying, hey, I'm puffing myself up because I'm this guy and I do this, that, and the third. I'm disciplined. No, it's saying, like, I'm no good on my own, but I trust in the power of the Lord to give me strength to have authority, to be able to walk in authority. That's why it says walk in the spirit. You won't fulfill the lust of the flesh because you're walking in the authority of God. And that's what I'm striving each day to try to do. And I want my sons to be better at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. You spoke about a sound mind. I think that's something that a lot of parents struggle with too when it comes to parenting, because it's like your kids, I give in a lot, but I don't give in that much anymore. But kids know when you don't have a sound mind.
Oh, yeah.
Kids know when you have a double mind. They know when you are unstable in all your ways. They
Yep.
know that if they can cry, if they can throw a tantrum, if they can beg you, whatever they can do to get you to back down on whatever boundary you have, they will try it. And so that is really important, to have a sound mind and to be sure about it. And so what are some practical steps, just off the top of your head, that parents can do to become more have more ownership over the childhood and like raising their kids? What would be some like very practical steps? Because you do a good job. I mean,
no, I think you do better.
Nah, like when it comes to the practical stuff, like I'm emotionally there for them and stuff, but I feel like you've taught them how to, like, certain things. There's like certain things that I didn't even think about until I saw it on a paper, and I was like, oh, Lo already taught them that.
Yeah.
Like putting on their clothes by themselves, and I don't know, just like practical. It doesn't have to be like so individual, but like what are practical ways that people can gain authority over their parenting? Is that the right word to say?
I mean, I guess it depends on what they need. It depends on what they're needing in their parenting or what they're trying to get out of their children. If you allow them to go buck wild, then you probably need some boundaries for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, some practical ways. I think that for me, what helped me, or what's helping me rather, is to see my children as I see them futuristically. So I automatically see what they can do. So I put potential in them that they don't see in themselves. And so when I say, go brush your teeth, well, I've already taught you multiple times. I always watch when I tell them to do something. Then I may correct it if they're not doing it right. Then I keep telling them. I keep giving them authority. I keep giving them the potential that they can walk in. Now, you can choose a shirt, choose your pants. You got it. Now make sure it matches. And I'm teaching them, how to pick, but they are getting the affirmation that they have the ability to do it. And so I allow them to walk in that ability. That's why Kylo can be so vocal and so convicted in what he's saying, because we've given him that affirmation. Like, oh, I hear what you're saying. You're right, Kylo. Good job. Good job, man, for being a leader. Good job for stepping up. I remember one time Kason wasn't doing well in school. They called me up and I said, let's FaceTime. We FaceTime. And so it was a gentle rebuke, but I was very stern and loving at the same time. I was like, hey, man, you're a leader. Leaders, we don't do whatever you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I taught you. That's not how you're taught at home. We don't act. Is that how we act at home? No. How do we act at home, son? Now you speak. Now I give you, speak to me. Tell me. We do da. Tears in his eyes. I love you so much, son. But I'm calling you higher because I see higher in you. This is why we're having this conversation. Now apologize, whatever you need to do, but let's be called higher. You're a leader. Now you validate them. You tell them who they are, who I see them to be. But this comes from how you see yourself too. Because you'll never be able to see potential in others if you don't see potential in yourself. You'll never be able to call others higher if you're not calling yourself higher. If you're not doing the work for yourself, you'll never be able to do it for others.
And you'll always speak to your child with shame if you always speak to yourself with shame.
Correct. And so that's a cycle that will continue to go through generation after generation after generation, because you haven't stopped the cycle for yourself.
Right.
It always starts with you.
Right.
And so when I was reading this book about how to raise emotionally strong, emotionally healthy boys, it always started with me, the parent.
That's good.
It never started with what they need to do. It started with me. What am I doing? How do I see myself?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, are you emotionally regulated? Why is their crying triggering you? Those type of things. Like, why are their temper tantrums bothering you? Why are you getting mad about it? That's what they're supposed to do. At 5 years old, 2 years old, they are selfish. This is what they are.
Yeah.
Our goal is to help them manage and to co-regulate and all that good stuff. Like to be the strong ox and to be the rooted tree that they can lean on. But we got to do the work. Practically, you have to do the work. You got to go to counseling. You got to do some meditation. You got to pray. You got to get in the word. You got to deregulate. You got to breathe and do breath work. You got to get into the gym. You got to discipline your body. You got to, there's a lot of different things you have to do for yourself. It's not about the children. It's about you. If you got to drink you some ashwagandha so you can be calm throughout the day, get you some ashwagandha.
Sounds like you know exactly.
That's what I know. I give me some tea, put some ashwagandha in that tea. I'm good, man. Like, I'm calm. I realize these are things that I've learned.
You wake up before the kids to pray.
I wake up before the kids to pray. I do it. I'm up before they up. Most times
they meet you in the prayer closet.
They meet me in the prayer closet. They praying. They coming into
practical.
Right, that's practical. So when I'm praying, they walking up. They saying hi, but instead of saying hi, they on their face praying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These are practical things, like making sure that we are ahead, not playing back catch up and behind.
And that you're setting an example so that they're following you as you follow Christ.
Right.
You know, this ain't no random king. You're the king of the house. No, man. Like, they're just your disciples.
You better do what I tell you to do because I'm the daddy. Man,
on, something crossed my mind. Everything you said was just was really good. Something crossed my mind, too, that actually was a wake-up call for me maybe a couple of months ago. I was on TikTok. I love a good TikTok. But I was listening to this guy. He was just telling his testimony about being raised in like a satanic cult. And he was raised in this cult from the time he was a kid on. And like he was talking about what they were training them to do at 5, 6, 7, 8, just like how they were brainwashing them, just like it's actually sad, crazy. I think his name is Nathan Reynolds or something like that. But he was just like walking through his testimony, his story, and something in me was just like stuck on this. And I sat there and I just watched it for like an hour, and I was just like blown away because we as Christians and as believers, we are the most passive people when it comes to raising up kids. True. Because the enemy, not just in the satanic cults, but like the world, across overseas, right? Like you have these Iraqi children that will come up strapped with bombs on them and stuff, and
that's how they're taught.
They're trained and taught, right? Yeah. But we look at our kids like, oh, they're just little Bobby. He just give him the headphones and just put on Coco Melon and let him zone out. And it's like, what are you training him for? Right. Because the enemy is already after him before you ever started training him. And so it was a wake-up call to me of like, no, my kids are not too young to be discipled. And I realized for me, which is my advantage, is that I grew up not really having a childhood. And so I have this balance of like, okay, I want them to have fun. I want them to be children, and I want them to be aware of what they are growing up in the world that they're in. And I want them to have that awareness and like have at least foundational things. And so immediately after watching that, I said, I got my boys for our lesson. We began to talk about the spiritual warfare and the breastplate of righteousness. We just went over that tonight. Sword of the Spirit, just like equipping them in the Spirit. That's why they was talking about cutting off, heads and stuff. But we're working on them.
They know all that.
I was like, don't cut off heads, guys. In the spirit realm, we don't have to fight in the spirit. I'm trying to teach them. I'm trying to hone them in. But it's like, I want to be realistic with them because they need to know this. They need to know, like, now. I don't want the world to teach them, that they're here for some other purpose other than to be disciples of Jesus Christ. So y'all could call that, we could call it deep. I feel like we're like, there's this war about like, let them have this childhood, let them go to Disneyland, let them just be on a theme park life and teach them about Santa Claus. You're ruining their childhood. They shouldn't have to grow up so fast. It's like, at some point we got to realize, yes, they can have fun, but they also don't need to be in the dark about a lot of stuff, because you'll be shocked at how soon they actually know things that you don't think that they know.
Right.
And
they don't live in a fairy tale. And that's something, it's our duty to make sure that we make life as realistic as possible.
I'm just saying, like, there's so many parents and there's so many testimonies that you hear later on when someone's an adult that he says, hey, at 5, I was exposed to this. At 6, I was exposed to this. At 7, I was exposed to this. Meanwhile, you've been looking at little Tommy like he's just the most precious guy. No. And you weren't praying into his life. You
Right.
did not equip him to fight. You weren't having conversations with them that you probably should have. And so I think it's like it's a wake up call to understand that when you're not working, there's something else working behind the scenes. And so
Our children don't live in a fairy tale land. This is real life. This is the real world. And our goal is to create real life circumstances so that they're ready for,
yeah.
and have fun in the process, and be loving, and be gentle, and be corrective. It all goes hand in hand. It all goes together. They work together in tandem together. And I think that a lot of times we send our children off not wanting to do the hard work and teaching them all of these real life principles and trying to pawn them off to teachers, pawning them off to daycare workers, pawning them up because it's too hard for us, because we're so focused on, like you were saying before, our platform. We're so focused on trying to make it, trying to get the bucks or whatever, that we neglect the real work, which is raising up children to be adults.
Yeah.
At some point, they're going to be adults. And at some point, we have to do our job as parents to train them up to be ready for the real world. I tell them stuff like, hey, man, like, not everybody's going to like you. Oh, don't say that to your children. No, I say it to my sons. Nah, bro, not everybody's going to like you, man. You may walk into, a situation, a classroom or whatever, and somebody may say, I don't like you. Now, how you going to handle that, son?
Right.
Do you say, I don't like you either? Just say, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, you don't have to like me, but I like me, because your reflection of me is not going to be a reflection of how I see myself.
Yeah.
Just because you don't like me don't mean I need to not like me.
Yeah.
But that's, again, we don't teach our children that. We say, everybody loves you, Johnny. Everybody loves you, Willie. Everybody loves you. You're just the sweetest thing. And they're like, look, mate, not everybody's going to like you, bro.
Right.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes how you talk. Not everybody going to like that you talk a lot. I do, son. I love that you talk a lot. You should love that you talk a lot too. But no, there's going to be some people who are going to be bothered by it. Why are they bothered by it, Dad? Because they don't like themselves, probably. Right. They got some work they got to do.
Right.
Oh, they got work they got to do. Yeah, maybe you can say that.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, you know what? You got some work you got to do. I make sure I let my sons know, hey, they're not gonna get punked. If they talking about you, somebody was talking about my sons before in the little class. Yeah, I was like, hey, bro, don't let them talk. Don't let them talk about you. He said, what you mean, Dad? Like, roast them back. If they talking about your face or something like that, roast them back. Like, go crazy.
I said I need to talk to the mom.
No, roast them. I said roast them. This is how I teach my sons. I said, look, man, if they talk about you, give them a warning and say, hey, man, I prefer you not to talk to me that way. I said, repeat after me. I prefer you not to talk to me that way. Please do not speak to me that way. If you do it again, I'm already warned you. What happens next is your fault. Say it, son. What happens next is your fault. Now you roast. If they don't stop, you make them stop, and you make them tell you to stop. That's how I grew up. I had to learn this on my own. I got bullied, and I had to realize, you know what? The only way for me not to get bullied and get roasted is I got to learn how to roast. And as soon as I walk in, folks start, oh, here's Lorelco. All right, let me go. He going to say something crazy. They start looking at themselves because they already, you know what I'm saying? They already know, and I get the respect. So this, like, be funny, be punctual. Don't say nothing that's not funny. Be funny, be accurate.
Okay.
This is how I'm teaching them this so that they aren't get punked. I'm teaching them this because I think it's important that they stand up for themselves, but always give a warning. If somebody hits you, please don't hit me. If you hit me again, that's your fault. What happens next is on you. So if y'all got parents, if y'all got kids out there trying to mess with my sons, I'm sorry. They probably gonna give you a warning. They're gonna give your children a warning before you give you that work.
Little outfits and stuff, people don't realize, like, bruh.
It's crazy thing because
I
feel like we are strict, but I was having a conversation with another guy. And I said, man, I was trying to teach my sons, like, like discipline in regards to, like, karate, like dribbling, basketball, that type of thing. And so every time I try to get them all in a straight line and try to get them to get them right, they start laughing and stuff, man. Like, they don't ever take me seriously, man.
Yeah, you're not strict in, like, a toxic way. I'm not meaning that.
I said, man, what is it? Well, I can't seem to get them to, like, to stop being goofy around. He said, bro, you know that's a good thing, right? I said, what do you mean? He said, it means they feel safe around you. I was like, huh? He said, it means that they feel safe. You've created a safe environment where they feel they can play around. Like that. This is the early years where they feel like they can just be. This ain't the time for that. Like for military work, they feel safe around you. If now they sat there scared, attention, and they sitting there doing all that, I'll be kind of like, hey man, what are you doing to these kids? You know what I mean? And so I had to really think about it. I'm like, oh, okay, so there's a difference between. There's a lot of people use the word strict in a way that's toxic.
I don't mean strict towards our kids. I mean strict towards protecting an environment and creating a safe environment that feels like a bubble.
Right, having
not a bubble.
Having boundaries. That's basically.
I'm not. I don't know. I just wanted to. I wanted a hot topic here.
I'm a person of high boundaries, but I just realized, like, man, like what we're doing, you know, is allowing them to be safe and to have fun and just to be themselves. And at this point, that's all I can ask for is, hey, man, be you. All my sons have different versions of me and you, and they all get on my nerves at the same time, to be honest with you. And I love them with all of my heart. All of them are true. You know what I mean? Like, I look at cases.
We worship together as a family.
We worship together.
Didn't say that. We pray together as a family every day.
Yeah. We eat
recite scriptures together every day.
Yeah. I teach them the word. They know at least 10 scriptures. But at the same time.
No, they definitely know more than that.
Okay, they know more than that. But at the same time, man, there's no blueprint. The only blueprint is praying to God that he gives you the wisdom and the knowledge to be able to raise up good children. It's really him. There's no blueprint to parenting. Yeah. The only blueprint, if there is one, is to trust God with your kids
and surrender
and give them up to him and allow God to move through you so that you can be patient enough and have enough authority to speak life into them so that they can grow up to be good children and good human beings, man.
Yeah.
We need good human beings.
Everybody I will say this though before I go. Please monitor your kids' screen times and don't sit them in front of a TV or screens all day. I just ask that, please, kindly. And I'm just going to go now. Love you guys so much. Please. Yeah, it does affect them, okay? It affects their development, their speech, all of that. 1 hour, 2 hours, that's different as they age, all that. Today in society, I just think I just want to say that.
And it's getting late.
Okay, I just want to say that because I feel like that was a practical step that I didn't get to mention.
That's a good practical step.
But love you guys.
We love y'all.
I feel like that's part one because we just needed to break the ice because our parenting is our parenting. And so I feel like we can expound if any questions, comments, concerns, we could definitely have a part two.
Yeah, we love y'all. Part two coming. Let us know what else y'all want to talk about. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And if you're listening on the podcast, leave a review so we know like what y'all like about it or not. So love y'all. I'll see y'all till next time. Peace.
Bye.